Cześć, witam Cię bardzo serdecznie w kolejnym odcinku z The Outer Worlds. Zostaw kciuka, subskrypcję, dzwoneczek. Dobra, czy ja mogę to w ogóle tu otworzyć? Tak po prostu sobie, o? Mogę. Ale nie będę tego brał. Bo nie jest to dla mnie. Albo wezmę. Bo była tam modyfikacja broni. Najlepiej powinienem jeszcze opylić to wszystko, co podjebałem.
You think corporate's ever gonna visit?
I'm not holding out hope.
Tu nie wchodzę. Nie, no dobra.
Hey. Our place in the universe is fixed.
Ogólnie to wygląda jak kościół, nie? Kurwa, Terminator. Było podnieść, a nie ukradnij, więc...
Hey there, Mary. Don't see you round here too often.
Oh, I just came to talk to the vicar is all.
Mamy i naczelnego pedofila.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max if you're the sort who prefers brevity. I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling? This season's tossball predictions? The quickest way out of town? Mechanical tomfoolery is well out of my purview. I suggest you take such matters to Mr. Thompson in the cannery. Oh, and a word of warning. If you're considering wandering around outside the safety of the town, you'd best be cautious. Marauders are about. Though if you are planning on venturing outside, I do have a proposition that may interest you. One of the reasons I transferred here was to fulfill my duty in hunting down banned heretical texts. I happen to know such a book is, as we speak, tainting a collector's library in Emerald Vale. However, the collector's residence lies outside the town's walls. My retrieval efforts have been thwarted by marauders who have overrun the property. Should you fare better than me, I'd pay a handsome sum for the book. I just want to keep the writing out of layman's hands. It wouldn't do for such information to fall into public consumption. It's a handwritten journal, a faded blue cover with the name M. Bakonu handwritten in the lower corner. I'll mark where I saw it on your map. Assuming you're serious? It is not only a beautiful relic of a bygone time, it's also the thoughts of an early thinker on the nature of man's place in the cosmos. Not many in this colony could understand its true value, should they ever read it. Thank you. If you retrieve it, you can always find me here.
Ta, poszukaj jakiejś książki. No dobra. No dobra. Wkurza mnie jedna rzecz, że te questy, które można tu zdobyć, nie są jakby pokazane do pogadania, nie? Na mapie gdzieś tam. Tak od razu, że możesz podejść i sobie wiedzieć, że tutaj jest questik, nie? Maragdowa Dolina.
Don't make me report you to Mr. Thompson.
Ty, bo ci jebnę. Okej. tu jeszcze mamy?
I'm sorry. I'll just be a minute.
You had a minute. Next one comes out of your pay.
Mogę wejść?
Ease off the threats, friend.
Tak stało, jakby tego pilnował, pierdolnika całego. Czego on tu pilnuje, jak tu nie ma nawet nic do ukradzenia? Automat sprzedający?
Don't make me report you to Mr. Thompson.
Ja tak mogę tu chodzić? Bo nie wiem.
You some sort of freelancer?
You the new worker? Whatever. Make it quick, Tenderfoot. I'm busy. Foreman Granger. Mind those words don't come out of your mouth unless preceded by yes or right away or thank you. Shit. Silas still on about that. Here, take the fees. I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell Reed I was late on my payment. Because they're not my fees and not my gravesite. Guy I worked with shot himself. I paid the bill. I could do without the sarcasm. Wasn't acting out of the goodness of my heart. Law requires delinquent gravesite fees to be paid by the deceased party's closest living relative, which meant me. Shame, though. Eugene was a good worker. Woke up one morning and put a round through his upper story. Can't imagine why. The kid was doing all right at his desk. We all thought he was an upstanding receptionist. Just between the two of us, I'm pretty shocked his weapon didn't misfire. Spacer's Choice handguns aren't the most reliable. Not half as awful as the bill Eugene left us with. Suicide's a crime. The legal term is irreparable damage to company property. What Eugene did to himself was vandalism. When one of your workers commits a crime, the entire town pays for it. In other words, Edgewater would have been penalized pretty hard. Whatever Eugene was worth as an asset, we would have had to pay out of pocket to Spacer's Choice. Well, excuse you. I'll have you know Eugene was an asset to us all. May his atoms be commended to the law. All I know is Silas asked me for Eugene's gravesite fees, which means he was approved for burial, which means his papers went through, which means the town's in the clear. I'm just glad to put this whole ugly affair behind me. Eugene can rest his bones in peace, and the rest of us can get on with our own lives.
Okej. To niezły tu macie system podatkowy. Nie wiem, po co te terminale są. Ja to bym se zajebał. To mi się może przydać. Terminale to ja nie... O. A ciul, już jak otworzyłem. Tego strażnik nie widzi, mnie nie boli, nie? Cześć strażniku, siema siema. Jak tam? Mordeczko. Dobrze spełniasz swoje tutaj role? Automat sprzedający. Automaty sprzedające oferują szeroką gamę produktów do kupienia najczęściej jednej marki. Umiejętność hakowania na poziomie co najmniej 20 punktów pozwala sprzedawać przedmioty automatom sprzedającym. Zastrzeżenie przedmiotu można kupić tylko w przypadku posiadania odpowiednio wysokiej reputacji u danej frakcji lub po osiągnięciu co najmniej 40 punktów umiejętności hakowania. Dobrze. Czekaj. Sprzedaj śmieci. 23 na ten. Ja bym chciał wiedzieć, które są rzeczy założone. To by było najlepiej. Ale z tego co mi się wydaje, to tutaj chyba te rzeczy nie są wyszczególnione, jeśli dobrze widzę, nie? Tak, te rzeczy, które są nie jakby... To ma 6, no to trzeba to założyć, bo jest lepsze. Okej. Na plazmowe. To w sumie mogę go po prostu sobie założyć tutaj, nie? Żeby mieć dwie jakby, znaczy 3 różne możliwości amunicji. 66 obrażeń, cyk. Topór wstrząsowy. No dobra. Chowajmy. To mogę sprzedać. I te dwa też mogę sprzedać. Dobra. Terminal. A jeszcze tu sobie zerknę. Nie wiem, czy czegoś mi się to przyda, ta skóra. Kiedyś, ale... Dobra. Jak mam możliwość, to zbiorę. Nie waży to jakoś dużo. Okej, jedziemy do góry.
The grease monkey, Argo? Seems we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself. I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I cannot help but notice you are not in uniform. Yes, so it dawns on me. Seems I allowed my excitement to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since we've had a visitor pass through.
Only regulator we got is hooked up to the town transformer. Mr. Thompson ain't liable to be keen on dismantling it.
I beg your pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such thing. I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process. There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. Once their power's shut down, you can have their regulator and be along on your way. I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there. The people living in the botanical labs, they're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home. My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town. Adelaide's older than the other deserters. She's dignified, kindly. From what I understand, her camp looks to her for leadership. That reason was me. I asked too much and pushed too hard. But I am ready to make amends if they are willing to return to the fold. We belong to one community, the Spacer's Choice family. If we dissolve into factions, then we will all perish separately. Adelaide will understand that.
My dad told me all about the plant. Taught me all he knew. I could come in useful. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented and may prove useful to you. You will need an administrative passcode in order to enter the plant. I am trusting you with mine, and trusting Miss Holcomb to guide you if you'd like.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you, and thank you again for your help. It is a lot to ask of a stranger, I know.
Okej, przetestujemy sobie, jak działają towarzysze w tej grze. Warsztat dla nowych menadżerów cen towarzyszy. Zyskujesz nowego towarzysza. Towarzysze to prostaci, które dołączają do ciebie i pomagają ci na rozmaite sposoby. Zapewniają ci wsparcie w walce, ich umiejętności wzmacniają twoje, zwiększają pojemność twojego ekwipunku. Dzięki umiejętności i inspirowaniu możesz odblokować specjalne zdolności bojowe towarzyszy. Więcej informacji na temat swoich towarzyszy znajdziesz w karcie towarzysz. Dobra. Nic nie masz do zajebania, ale mi się to nie podoba totalnie. Reda, no dobra. Jedźmy w dół w takim razie. O Jezu.
We better clear out of Mr. Thompson's office before we talk.
Okej.
Hey, ma'am, can we talk? Sorry.
No tak.
Got a sec? Sorry. You just want to get out of here. And you likely don't want to tag along like me. It's just, Mr. Thompson has his own view on matters, on account of it's his job and what all, but that's not the only side of the tale. To Mr. Thompson, a person's a gear. It does its job quiet-like. If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of them before they left. Life's hard here, especially for them that don't fit in so well. We're one big Spacer's Choice family, but every family's got the one the rest whisper about. Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. They'll be at the mercy of marauders, or worse. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Max, his name is. Thanks, ma'am. I just think when you gotta make a decision that'll hurt somebody, it's best to think on the right and wrong of it. That's what my dad used to say anyways.
Pastor to nie jest ten, który hajs ściąga? Gdzie ona pobiegła? Wszedłem, nie? Tak. Tu nie, tu wszedłem, przeszedłem tutaj. Ta strona mi jeszcze została do przebadania.
This is where the magic happens. Well, hey, that's... I mean, if you need it, okay.
No ale tam nie było ukradnij, tylko podnieś. Wniosek jest prosty, mogę to wziąć. Chyba, że jak ja z nią chodzę, to mogę wszystko zabierać. By w sumie miało trochę też sensu, nie?
Open up a can of something. My dad's. It's an office. Just my office.
Nie wiem, po chuj ja to wszystko zbieram, ale ja lubię eksplorację i zbieranie wszystkiego i chomikowanie. A może się akurat to przyda.
If you need to go, I'll wait outside.
Dobra, przymknij mordę na razie, tempa dzido. Lutuję, nie? Kurwiałem niektóre kobiety. Pierdolą i pierdolą.
Hey, you hear about Wilson?
Heard Marauders got it.
Just between us?
Dobra, tu jeszcze nie byłem. A, byłem, przepraszam. Tylko, że wchodziłem od tej strony.
I've always felt weird in here. It's too clean.
Any progress on that matter we discussed? Ah, Miss Holcomb. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
This here's Vicar DeSoto. He's always offering spiritual counsel to those that need it.
Thank you for the kind assessment, Miss Holcomb. I admit, I've been quite interested to make our outsider's acquaintance. Please get it. What would you like to discuss?
What? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in single words, and slink away. I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive her to my mission. What has Mr. Thompson asked her to do? Depriving them of safety from the marauders and wildlife. I can see why that troubles you. Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has, if you believe the talk. They rejected the order of society and live beyond the walls so thoughtfully provided by our Spacer's Choice patrons. Does that strike you as a responsible life choice? Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edgewater and convince the deserters to return to the fold. Not if things are left to stand as they are. I've never seen you before, and there's been no paperwork indicating a transfer. Half the time it's wrong, but a new worker without paperwork? Unheard of. Also, you lack the distinctive worker gaze. Usually either a deadening behind the eyes, or in some rare cases, a wild-eyed frenzy, like a trapped animal. Pretty universal here, except for Ms. Holcomb, who, for some reason, doesn't seem to have much to say to me. Isn't that right?
It's just. There's more to it all than numbers. Sorry.
Ah, excuse me. I'm suddenly experiencing quite an amazing headache. They who are not satisfied with their work are satisfied with nothing. No? How about, work fortifies the spirit. True exhaustion awaits idle hands. Selling? No. It is free for all who seek it. I'm sorry you don't find these tried and true words of wisdom to your liking. The OSI teaches that the Grand Architect set a perfect system in motion at the beginning of time. Contentment is found by accepting one's role in that grand plan. The Order of Scientific Inquiry, also known as scientism to the layperson. Mock me all you want. I know my beliefs to be true. That's not how it works. The Grand Architect has no concern for us beyond setting the plan in motion. We will eventually decode the plan and all its intricacies. Once we are able to deduce the properties of every particle in the universe and its trajectory, we will know everything. The future, the past, each person's place within the plan, all will be laid out before us, removing struggle and bringing peace. No one will ever need question their path again. Some even believe this ultimate knowledge will unlock mankind's true potential, and we will all become akin to Grand Architects ourselves, after a fashion. I would love to discuss the finer points of my religion with you. Oh, wait. No, I wouldn't. Seriously, though, to truly understand the metaphysics involved takes years of study and contemplation.
Jakieś kurwa takie pierdoły gada jak każdy ksiądz. Dobra, wychodzimy z tego pierdolnika panego miastem i lecimy dalej. Maragdowa Dolina. No dobra. O, mogę się w razie czego szybko teleportować, okej. No dobra, i tu mamy quest teraz jakieś tam poboczne.
I'm on my way.
Aha, dobra, bo to jest do niej teraz, okej.
When I was little, we'd get freighters in every Sunday noon. Now they only come but once a month. I love the...
Dobra, chciałbym zobaczyć moje sterkowanie, nie, modyfikacje. Okej, i teraz mi powiedzcie, to jest broń, która jest nowa, a te 4 są założone, bo mają taką ramkę, tak? Dobra, modyfikacja broni dystansowej, magazynek zmienia typ obrażeń nadawanych przez broń na obrażenia od porażenia prądem. Jepmy to sobie tutaj. Zobaczymy, co z tego będzie. Dobra. Teraz tak, tu gdzieś jest. Jak ja mogę to przełączyć? Dobra. Powinienem teraz mieć tego gościa widocznego. O, to jest on, dobra.
Thank the law. I've been requisitioning backup for months. Guess the boss finally came to his senses. You ever swung a truncheon? Let me see your rifling stance. I want to make sure you're up to snuff.
Pokażę ci tą moją pałkę, ale już w kolejnym odcinku, który będzie jutro o godzinie 15. Na teraz tyle. Dzięki serdeczne za oglądanie. Zostaw oczywiście kciuka, subskrypcję, dzwoneczek, wbiję do linku w opisie i widzimy się jutro. Miłego popołudnia. Cześć.